Yeah.
I want to ask you if it doesn't take big money out of politics, if it's not taking money out of billionaires, it's close to a fundraiser. Welcome. How you guys doing? We are the Right Lefties. My man Oso, and yours truly, Mr. Llama. We'll start off by giving you guys some context as to what you guys just saw, and we'll go right into it. So this was a student, an activist. He was a student activist from Iowa. His name is Craig Chung, asking Mayor Pete whether let me just quote him directly. I wanted to ask if you think that taking big money out of politics includes not taking money off of billionaires and closed door fundraisers. Was what he asked Mayor Pete. And of course, Mayor Pete said no. And then as soon as he said no, he just simply turned away and started talking to somebody else. So this just goes to show you guys another reason how he's not progressive, pretty much. You want to input anything?
I'm not gonna even say that it's not that he's not progressive, but it just shows you he's a politician. In other words, he's not being transparent, and he's claiming all this that he's being transparent, but clearly he's not. Because even if, let's say, he had a good reason to not show that, you would say it. And you see in the other video, they basically ask him to tell him why, because according to him, he has considerations. But again, if you had a really good reason not to be transparent or not to take big money, you would tell the kid no because this and that. You could have said the bullshit as no because they're taking it, so we got to take it to keep up with the other candidates that are doing it.
So would you consider somebody that doesn't take money, that's running a progressive?
No, of course not. But I'm just saying, if any, for the viewers that are not progressive, understand that if someone wants to take money, even if think about it.
I see what you're saying.
Even whatever you believe in, it doesn't matter, especially if this guy's taking money from
it doesn't
fundraisers,
matter.
Because he's gonna represent whatever you believe or whatever the donors believe or are telling him to do. That's my point.
Yeah.
And like you just add to what you're saying, that's not progressive at all.
Yeah.
It's the exact opposite of what progressive is. That's status quo. That's
pretty much centrist.
Establishment.
Yeah, establishment. Well, I wouldn't even say centrist, just because your brother, he's kind of a moderate and he believes in getting money out of politics as well.
That's what I'm saying.
So that makes sense what you say. Okay.
Earlier today, you said you were open to having a conversation about opening your fundraisers, and that's a question that reporters have been asking for months now. So I'm wondering, when do you expect to actually have that conversation and give an answer on that?
Again, I don't have a timeline for you.
As the candidate, can't you just direct your campaign to open this course?
What's that?
As the candidate, can't you just direct your campaign to open this course?
Yes.
And why haven't you done so?
What's that?
Why haven't you done so yet?
There are a lot of considerations, and I'm thinking about it.
Next question. Can you give us an example of those considerations?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, Mayor. Thanks.
This Friday, he was at a press brief that he, before that he had almost what are they called?
It was just a public, a forum for all the candidates. A bunch of the candidates were there.
Yeah, pretty much. They were getting asked questions, correct? So afterwards, a reporter asked him about that. The question was that, whether he would consider disclosing his big bundlers donations, because he's one of the top right now out of all the candidates who receive big donor money from, from a lot of millionaires and billionaires. And also if he would allow the press to go in and into his, because he's been having a lot of closed door fundraisers and not allowing the press to go in. But let me just go exactly into what they were saying. So he got asked that, and then he said that he would consider, right, opening his fundraisers to the news media, right? And then according to this article, the reporter noted that Buttigieg has been saying that for a couple of months now. So there's been an ongoing hello, we were trying to see if we can get into your fundraisers, and you haven't responded back. So there's that. And then he responded, I don't have a timeline for you. And then asked whether it was not ultimately his responsibility rather than his campaign staff to decide that grant reporters access to fundraisers. Buttigieg affirmed that it was, up to the staff. But then he also went ahead and said there are a lot of considerations, and I'm thinking about it. He added and asked whether he could share some of those considerations, and he just simply said no. And then right after he said no, one of his staffers or his aides interrupted and pretty much said, okay, that's it, guys, and left. And then he just like bounced.
Alright, so let me just add a bit to quote them. They said, but Mayor, as a candidate, can't you just direct your campaign to open those fundraisers? And then he said yes. And then the follow-up question was, and why have you done that? There's a lot of considerations, and I'm thinking about it. Can you give us those considerations? No.
The guy is not the guy you want to go for, man. You can't trust this man. And then, like you mentioned again earlier, he went out. So now he's backpedaling, of course. Typical politician, he's backpedaling now. Now he's saying that he's going to allow the press to enter his fundraiser, and he's going to disclose all of his donations.
Yeah, he's also going to release the information of the clients that he worked for. Because it's another big deal that...
I think that's what it is.
He doesn't want to, he worked for an account, it was I want to say it was, what's the word? Not an accounting firm, but basically they come in and they tell you how to restructure or
your finances.
So, he doesn't want to, he's hiding that part, what clients he worked for when he was working with that firm. And the reason he's hiding it is because people are speculating that his job was not to help him out. And his job was really to cut people and cut jobs. So he's hiding that information, and the reason why is because aside from cutting jobs, and those lower level jobs, they weren't cutting the CEOs, and they weren't telling them to cut their pay or anything like that. It was basically hurting the working class, so he doesn't want that to be released.
Yeah.
But he said that they gave him permission to do it, so he's gonna do it. So we'll see. He said soon, whatever that means, but hopefully sooner than later. And I personally think that no matter what, it's not gonna look good, because I feel like he was hiding it for a reason.
Oh yeah.
And
just like he was hiding right now.
And hopefully whatever comes out is the truth, and all of it, not a half truth.